Hello there, Ray here, and behind me is a very compact witch farm that I designed. This is a Wither Rose witch farm. A couple of snapshots back, they introduced an item called the Wither Rose. This Wither Rose will induce the Wither effect onto any entity that is above it, and this will allow most entities to die from the Wither effect. Right after that snapshot, we did a live stream in where we designed up some Wither Rose mob farms, and we also came up with the concept to make a witch farm out of this, as witches can eventually die from the Wither Rose even though they take health potions. This was also the same Twitch live stream in where we made that Wither Rose farm, so if you'd like to check out the entire live stream as well as the Wither Rose farm that we designed up, I'll link it down in the description. The way that my farm works is very simple. We have a witch hut here where I went ahead and removed the entire structure. Then I came in here and placed in 3 levels of hoppers. All these hoppers are going into this direction and eventually connect up to the single chain and go into this chest here. Mobs are able to spawn on top of the hoppers, and then they will start taking damage from the Wither Roses. Inside the witch hut, we will only get witches to spawn in, and these witches will spawn in like this, kind of above it, and then they'll fall down into these little holes in the hopper, but that does not affect their ability to die from the Wither Roses. The witches will try to take health potions to try to combat the damage that they're taking, but because they randomly take the potions, they don't always take them consistently, which causes them to eventually die from the Wither effect. This makes the farm somewhat slow compared to other witch farms, but also makes it very compact and very easy to build up once you have acquired the Wither Roses, which I'll show you how to get. So on the sides of the farm, we just put in some non-solid blocks, such as stairs, to prevent the items from falling outside of it. You can also use glass. And above it, I placed in a ceiling. This not only prevents the light from going into the hoppers, which you could block by placing slabs like this, but it also allows it so that the pack spawning can start out here and then it can be moved inside of the farm. This will increase the rates slightly. The rates of a farm are pretty decent for such a slow process of killing them. It will produce an entire double chest full of items in 1 hour, which is 3,456 items, and these rates are significantly higher than they were just a couple days ago. Prior, they were doing some testing with 1.14 and mob spawning, causing the mob spawn to be quite low overall, and when I ran this farm about a week ago, it only produced this many items per hour, so this is about 1,000 items per hour. So now it produces significantly more because they reverted back the changes that they made, so now it's similar to like that of the spawning of 1.13.2. Currently there is a bug with 1.14 that if you upgrade like your 1.12 world to 1.14, then it will pretty much leave the structures that you built and then regenerate everything back as normal. So you can see this is the exact same world that I showed before, but pretty much what happened is it kept this structure, and then you can see that it also put in everything that how it used to be prior to me putting my structure in here. But you can see in here that there is one naturally generated witch as well as witches that I had prior that were just spawning inside of it. There's also a cat that comes inside with it. Here you go, you can see the cat with the gold eyes. This cat also comes with witch huts now in the snapshot, which is pretty cool. But you can see where to place the layers of the hoppers. So this set layer hoppers is right here above the roof here. And then we got one that's pretty much 3 meters below that. And then we got one that's 3 meters below that. And if your witch hut happens to be inside of like a hill, then it may move the actual bounding boxes of the witch hut up or down. But the coolest part about this farm is that you don't even have to have an entire perimeter to run it. All you need to do is remove the area really close to where the witches spawn and then AFK up high. So that's what I'm going to show you how to do. So once you have built up the farm and got all the Wither Roses and hoppers in, you want to go ahead and seal off the edges so that no light can get inside. And you can see I pretty much did this to all of them already. For the feet level mobs, you want to make sure to use a transparent block, but on any other height, it doesn't matter. You can use like slabs or you can use even solid blocks. Now I have my other account sitting on a block at Y level 190. This is high enough up so that the witches are able to spawn on the very lowest level. You notice that the hoppers are 1 level above the water level. You see them here. And the witches are able to spawn in the corners without despawning as well. The mobs close by will still be able to spawn, so in this area here you will want to have some light sources such as torches, and then spam down all the torches in this area, that way the mobs will not be able to spawn here. There's also this funny phenomenon going on in the swamps, where the lily pads are generating on top of the land, and then once you update them with anything, then they just pop off. There's also this strange generation with these trees inside of the swamps, where it will remove all the bottom part of the tree. It's only on some of them, like this one doesn't have any bottom and this one does. Make sure you also secure around the hoppers that are going downwards and the chest as well, because all these can let light through them. Now with the area well lit around the witch hut, there is no hostile mobs spawning around here, and they're all forced to spawn inside of here. As you can see, here are all the witches that are spawning inside. Now, alternatively, you could also come in here and just break down the small amount of land that's here and let the water flow over it and just flood the area. And if you did that, you wouldn't have to place down light and you wouldn't have to snug up the sides of this so tight. You just need to put in this bottom layer right here so that the items don't fall outside of the witch hut. Otherwise, you wouldn't have to put any other types of blocks around here. This farm sort of reminds me of an old witch farm that I designed in the 1.10 snapshots, where I had magma blocks as the floor, and back then mobs could spawn on magma blocks, and then the witches would eventually die from this, because at the time they didn't also use their fire resistance towards magma blocks, and it was a really compact farm similar to this one. Now, the reason that this farm doesn't produce the same amount of rates as the one with magma blocks, which produce around 5,000 items per hour, is because in this version, it's not possible for the mobs to spawn directly inside of other mobs. So I press F3B, you can see their hitboxes, and it's not possible for a witch to spawn inside of a mob's already pre-existing hitbox. So what will happen is that if a witch does want to spawn here, and there's already a witch there, it will fail, and therefore the rates are lower. So I put in some wither skeletons here, and you can see that none of the witches are spawning inside of it. Also notice that the wither skeletons are eventually despawning because they are farther from the player, and there is a percentage that they can despawn if they're so far from the player. The witches are unable to despawn because they are constantly taking damage, so they'll always be in the world and will not be able to despawn until they die, so this helps with the rates. But overall, it's going to be less than the magma block design just because mobs are not able to spawn inside of other mobs that already exist in the farm. Ideally, you want a witch hut that is kind of in the center of the swamp or in level ground, so it's pretty easy for you to just come in here and remove all the spawning spaces. But if you have one like this one here, where it's right beside some extreme hills, you want to come in here and make sure to light up this area as well, so that no hostile mobs are spawning here. Since the mobs are spawning around a big, huge sphere around the player, 128 radius from where the player is at, meaning that the sphere is coming from over there up over here, and it is intersecting this mountain here, which allows the mobs to spawn on top of it. The nice thing about mob spawning that they changed in 1.13.2, no mobs will spawn outside of the sphere. This means you won't see the rapid spawning and despawning of like hostile mobs or even like water mobs inside of this water here. This makes farms where you AFK above the farm much more lag efficient than prior to this update. The hardest part about this farm, by far, is to getting enough wither skulls to summon in a wither to get the wither roses. So you have to go around and kill the wither skeletons until you get those 3 skulls, and then I'll show you how you can convert those over into a bunch of wither roses. Now you can use my farm that I showed where you can constantly get tons of wither roses, but if you just want to do like a one-time thing, then I'll show you an easier way. So after you got the wither skulls, which is the hardest part, then you can come in to this location. I'll put the coordinates also down in the description, and this allows you to have this bedrock formation where the wither is able to be inside of here, and you're also able to kind of move around in here, and he can kind of see stuff, but he won't be able to escape. So what you do is get a fence gate down at this level, then you put your wither in like this, and then you just summon him, so now he's inside the bedrock, and then he'll do his explosion, and he'll be safely within inside the bedrock and won't be able to escape. From this point, you can go ahead and place in a stair. Put it in like this, where the stair is facing with a hole towards the wither. And then you can come up here in survival and collect a whole bunch of chicken eggs and just stand in like this and throw chicken eggs upwards, and this will summon in baby chickens. When you kill the baby chickens, you got a chance of getting a rose from it. When baby chickens get killed by the wither, you will be able to drop a wither rose. And the way that this works is that the wither will see the baby chicken here, and then he'll shoot with his main head with a black wither skull, which will hit it. And when it kills the chicken, it will place down a wither rose here, which will also get popped off by the explosion. You may take some damage while you're here in survival, so be sure to bring some food along so you can eat it and regenerate your health. And then when you're done, you can go ahead and kill the wither. He is kind of stuck in spot, so you don't have to worry about him attacking you or anything. So this is also an easy way to kill the wither. If you'd like to look at the farm in closer detail, I will provide this world download, which includes the farm, as well as a nether portal, which will take you over there to the nether side, and then there is the wither rose farm over there. A compact witch farm for your 1.14 worlds. I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and if you found this video interesting, show me a like and share this with others. I really appreciate that. If you'd like to see more crazy contraptions like this farm, as well as other things I discovered with 1.14 and make farms of, be sure to go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell button if you want to get notifications about that kind of stuff. I'd love to hear what you guys think about the wither rose. Do you feel like it's similar to the magma block, that mobs should not be able to spawn on top of it in most cases? You think it's a good alternative to like spikes, which a lot of people have always wanted? Tell me all that down in the comments. Bye bye!